We are back. I guess something happened. We did this for our viewers here. Okay. Let's see if we can get everybody back in the chat. This unforeseen, completely unforeseen. Let's get this link posted out. Shane's working very hard to get this link posted out to everybody. Just making sure we're getting everybody back in here. We'll wait to start. Just wanted to get it going. Ewalps, brother, can you see us now, Ewalps? You know, I don't know what happened there. I guess Michael, hey buddy. So, Shane, go ahead and put these comments up if you can. I want to make sure everybody can hear us again. What just round Ewalps? Are you seeing this? Is everybody got this right here?
Technology, we love it and we hate it so much. But we're back, baby. Seems good. Thank you.
Good now. Well, we don't have any idea what happened. You know, and hopefully, to be honest, I went back and looked at the video and it looked like it cut out at like 30 minutes or something. And I was like, holy crap, we went 50 minutes. So there was a good 15 minutes of content that I think we literally just went through. All good now. Well, shit. Let's hope that Byron got this. You know, geez, it's nothing but a fantasy football game day start week 5 if somebody's not on tilt. And that is us on tilt. If I can try to get back into some of these comments here so I can try to get them answered. Give me just a second here. Let me see if I can find this here. Give me just a second. Or if you guys want to go ahead and
start queuing them up.
Yeah, well, I'm trying here. So hold on just a second here. Boom. Let's go here. Let me go down to our comments here. Let's see here. Yeah, looks like it definitely stopped at 33 minutes, and I didn't get a stream of any comments. So queue up your guys' comments. Whoever's here, we're trying to post this out on Twitter. We're trying to post this out everywhere so people can tune back in. Hopefully, we're getting everybody in here. Even at Season Long says, I think he's...
here we go.
There he is.
He's back.
Okay.
Hey, we are live, Alan.
I wonder what happened. That was kind of weird. But it looks like we got cut off. The first 30 minutes were good to go. And then it got cut off after that. So,
yeah, I wonder right there with Juju. Here we go, Michael. Thank you so much, brother. With Juju, a true game time decision. Should I start him if he's active, or go with another option like Auden Tate or Robbie Anderson?
Okay, can I just take the first part of this, and then you guys
please
can jump
do
in here, because I'm in this exact same situation. So this is coming from the heart, okay? How horrible will you feel when Juju Smith-Schuster goes off on your bench?
Oh, of course.
It's not worth it. You need to put him in your starting lineup. Now, it could go wrong. I understand. You got the game time decision. You got the foot, the turf toe, but you just cannot go through that experience of having him go have 100 yards and 2 touchdowns on your bench. It will kill you.
And Robbie Anderson, I mean, maybe, he would be in the conversation if Sam Darnold was actually playing. But the fact that he's not, to me, is just an absolute landslide. You play who everybody thought was going to be like a top 3 or 4 wide receiver going into the season.
Who's asking this question? What's the person's name?
This is Michael.
Michael, I'm telling you, I have stake in the game in this question. I am in this exact same situation with the exact same players. Auden Tate, Robbie Anderson. I have a couple more options, and Juju. I will not be able to live with myself if Juju goes off in my bench. I'm just telling you how I'm doing it.
Oh, absolutely.
Juju. There is no bad juju with Juju this week. Here's the thing about a number one receiver. I don't know that he's been bad.
He's been disappointing.
Yeah, disappointing. Disappointing is a better word to say as what happened here. We need to be getting these links over to this is a show here. the RosterWatch guys have no idea what just so happened. So let's hope that this works out and we get everybody back in here, because we had a ton of comments. Shane, hopefully you're actively trying to peek back at our previous comments. Carasquillo,
working through this right now.
Working through it, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Sorry about that. I have a theory on why that happened. Not
What's
a
the theory?
good one.
Sabotage. Nope. That's the theory. Nope. Sabotage.
No, tell me the theory.
Nope, can't tell you the theory live on air. Okay,
tell us the theory. The people
I can't
know.
tell you the theory, Al. Thank you, appreciate it. Jesus,
See, now
criminy, Al.
Now the people really want to know.
Jeez, criminy, Al. Okay, Richie James Sr. was one of our questions from earlier. Who's Richie James Sr.? Never heard of the guy.
It's his father.
Chris Strauss, what's going on, brother? Good morning on a game day edition. Somehow, Michael Yeager, here we go. Standard League, need 2. Okay, in a standard league. Go ahead, Shane, put this one up. Chris Strauss, Damian Williams, Ronald Jones, Curtis Samuel, or Jalen Samuels. He could see Curtis Samuel going off against the Ramsey-less Jags, but usually RB in the flex is better. Now says, is RB in the flex better? Let's first answer that question.
Sure. And this is in a standard league? Yeah, I'd say RB because, you're trying to predict who will get a touchdown. Because that's where that's where the bulk of the points are going to come from. So I would say an RB in the flex, obviously depending on the players, is probably optimal. But these are his options right here. The Jalen, you know who I'm going to go. I'm going to go with Jalen Samuels. But Ronald Jones is live, guys. He is a live option this week. I think that he's had some pretty good weeks here. The one I like the best here is Ronald Jones. Man, they're about to catch fire. These Tampa Bay Bucks.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of rhetoric out there. Ronald Jones statistically is like one of the best running backs in the league. Statistically, one of the best running backs in the league, Ronald Jones. He is not touchdown dependent. If you look at RosterWatch's touchdown dependency tool, he's pretty low on the totem pole. I mean, you don't want a guy that's 60% touchdown dependent. If you follow at RosterWatch, or also go grab a pro membership at RosterWatch.com, these are where you can find these tools. Okay. Hopefully Byron Lambert, as they're getting off of SiriusXM, can see that we're in a new stream here. And we'll get hopefully everybody on track with the stream. We're working hard at this. But you need to, I think we like Curtis Samuel, right? So we're going to go ahead and say Curtis Samuel for one of them. Says, you're saying Jalen Samuels.
Oh, no, I didn't see Ronald Jones was an option there. Ronald Jones would be my first option. He's the starting running back. He's been hot. Tampa Bay's catching fire. I really like him. But obviously, I like Jalen Samuels today as more of a flex play. But with these options in this format, I think Ronald Jones is the clear-cut option for me.
Yeah, I think 100%. Ronald Jones has to be the standard league guy that you put out there, especially against a Jalen Samuels. Okay, Michael Yeager. We're going to go Ronald Jones, Curtis Samuel, Chris. Thank you so much for the comment. Michael Yeager says, oh, God, these Chicken Littles need a good IT guy. I wonder where he could be. That's him. That's him. He wants in. This is his way in. I knew it. He sabotaged us.
He charges too much money, that guy.
Yeah. Clipboard Jesus, Flex Matt is using big words today, and it is scaring me. Yes, I used the word rhetoric, which possibly don't know how to spell the word.
That sounds like an SAT word to me.
That's a good SAT word. Michael Yeager says he's a weasel. Of course he's a weasel. He's a stinky weasel at the bottom of the barrel. We are live on a game day edition, week 5, start sit. We're trying to get the links back out to everybody.
I reposted all the links on
Twitter,
Facebook,
everything. Yep. So. Hopefully, cool. Obviously on the fly, Roster Watch didn't know any of this. So we're going to try to get us all back up here. Jennifer. Hey, Jennifer's back. Jennifer, can you hear us fine? Okay. Are we fine now? I don't know what happened. Hopefully you can hear us, Jennifer, because we love you. So I flexed Woods. But yep, by the way, she won last week. Thank you. We're going to help you again. Hopefully you can hear us this time. Flexed Woods on Thursday, 9.8 points. In a half-point PPR, she's got Evans and Fitz starting. Also has Juju McLaurin, Emmanuel Sanders, D-Rob on the bench. Starters are Matt Ryan, Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, our beloved Derrick Henry. We interviewed Derrick Henry's high school head coach in the preseason. Guys, go back Evan Ingram, and she's worried about Juju here. So I'm wondering how deep. Okay, so Juju, McLaurin, Emmanuel Sanders, D-Rob. Okay, are we playing any of those guys over Evans or Fitzgerald in a half-point PPR, even knowing that she only got 9.8 points from Robert Woods this week? I don't know that I would. I don't know that I would play Juju over Fitzgerald this week. Definitely not playing him over Mike Evans.
No.
Not this week.
Well, and you've got a pretty good floor with McCaffrey and Derrick Henry. Evan Ingram has been great this year. So you should have a pretty good floor. And I mean, 9.8 points, it's not like amazing, but it's not horrid, right? It's not like a 3-pointer. Or, if you had freaking Brandon Cooks, I think he got about 6 points. So it could always be worse.
Brandon Cooks was looking so great for me because I was playing against him, and I was just thinking, is this guy going to get a catch? Yeah, it was great. I think for sure he broke his entire whole body with that.
Yes.
And I was just waiting for it. But 9.8 points out of Robert Woods. I went ahead and bought Robert Woods last week. I went out there and I got Robert Woods. I did not start him this week. I don't like short weeks, especially going up against the Seattle Seahawks, where I know Gurley has always been dominant.
How would you rank the 3 wide receivers on the Rams for the rest of the season? Like, obviously Kupp 1, and then
Kupp 1.
Let's say healthy Brandon Cooks and Robert Woods. Is it Woods then Cooks? Is that how you would do it?
Yeah.
Okay, so and then quickly, I know we got a lot of questions to answer, but where do you see, like right now, if we had to redraft, like, or for next season, what round are these guys going in? Is Cooper Kupp like a round 2 receiver now?
Yeah, he's almost a round 1 receiver.
Fair enough. I mean, there's a lot. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. So okay, and then Woods and those guys, he'll be like, those will be 4th round receivers.
Carasquillo, we're back, guys. Hopefully you can hear us. But yeah, the idea is that I would draft Cooper Kupp ahead of Tyreek Hill next year. Like as it or this year. As it sits, obviously I would this year. But Cooper Kupp against or Tyreek Hill right now, who do you like more?
Right now, man. He looks
17 targets?
That's just so insane.
Oh my gosh. So wait a second. Let's go back to Jennifer's question real quick. So we've just decided we're not playing McLaurin, Juju, or Emmanuel Sanders.
McLaurin has a terrible matchup against New England. They're going to. New England is famous for shutting down the best option, and I see McLaurin. Yeah, I see TMC as the best option on Washington. So they're just going to take him out of the game, presumably.
Yep.
Run TMC, Polo Ralph McLaurin.
Catch TMC.
Jennifer says we already got that. We can hear. Thank you so much. Team Venture. I thought we had answered this question, but
we probably missed it. Yeah.
Didn't know we went off the air. So
the good news is we spent about 10 minutes on this question.
Yeah.
So and now we know our answer.
And the net was we came up with Gore. We don't like Hyde unless he gets that touchdown deodorant. And then of the 2 W's, we were split over which one we like. We agreed that Darrell Williams was a better bet for the touchdown. Damian Williams adds an unknown, but we all came to the conclusion that Frank Gore was your best bet.
Yeah, basically, if you wanted to just fade those 2 KC guys, because whichever one you guess, you're
which
probably
I don't like doing. I don't like fading KC.
We don't like fading it, but if you want to.
I don't believe that was what we thought. I thought we had said that it was Damian Williams and Frank Gore. If you wanted to fade Kansas City, you were going to go Frank Gore. But I thought we had decided that we were going to go ahead and play Damian Williams.
Yeah, I'm completely. Go ahead.
If it's my team, I'm playing Damian Williams.
Yeah,
that's kind of where I'm at.
Carasquillo, send your questions again, brother. I don't know if we answered them. Guys, all of your questions, just flood them back into the chat.
Do it.
We're working on getting Byron back up in here. Hopefully they can, get a new link to retweet. We're trying to reach out.
He just posted it, so.
Okay, great. Thank you. So, answer or throw your questions back here, guys. But thank you so much for tuning back in. Sorry, I don't know. I think StreamYard had a little bit of an issue. I think that's what it was. So we need an IT guy, but we're gonna go ahead with Venture. Love you guys too. Thanks, Jennifer. Oh, that's nice. We're gonna go ahead with Damian Williams, and if you want to fade KC, we're gonna go Frank Gore. Carasquillo, what was the answer to my question? We're gonna get there, brother. Put him back in.
Put him back up. Yeah. Andrew, I went and tried to sorry, Matt. Andrew, I went and tried to look at the old questions, and it looks like all the comments were kind of wiped from
And
the
basically,
previous
a lot
one.
of these questions are showing back up in the Slack chat. So
Okay.
my guess is what I'm doing is, I'm answering them what we answered and telling people to come back over if they have any others.
right.
Because, all right.
Well, why don't there you go. Anderson so Marauder 2 IIC. What's going on this morning? Thank you for commenting. Anderson, Kiki QT, or Mecole Hardman 0.5 PPR. We're getting a lot of Robbie Anderson this week. For the first time all season, we're getting a lot of Robbie Anderson.
It's because of that matchup, right? I mean, we talked about it. If your receivers are going against Philly, you play them.
Do you play them over? Well, I mean, over Mecole Hardman, Kiki QT. What would we say here? Are we gonna roll out Robbie Anderson this week?
Oh man, that's
No.
just dirty. I wouldn't trust it. No, again, if Sam Darnold was playing, it'd be a different conversation. But Mecole Hardman, man, he's only getting he's not getting the high value targets recently.
Yeah, but you want a piece of the KC offense.
Yeah.
Yes, it went very bad last week, but you play Hardman until Tyreek Hill comes back. And listen, it could go. There's a zero floor, but there's a weak winning potential in there. If he's your wide receiver 3, hopefully that's what you want out of your wide receiver 3. The chance for him to be a wide receiver 1.
Absolutely.
So do you think in a 0.5 PPR you're going to go after Hardman this week?
Yeah, I mean that's just who I'm putting in there, knowing it could be like a 2-point week or it can win me my week. Because what are you really going to get out of these other two guys? Robbie Anderson, as Shane said before, he's just not playable until Sam Darnold comes back.
Yeah, in the one league where I am starting him, I'm literally going to cry myself that entire game.
Yeah.
You're going to cry yourself?
I mean, I was going to say cry myself to sleep, but I already slept last night, so it's not really relevant.
A better way to put it, Matt, is which one of these 3 receivers would you make a bet on if you had to pick one? Will finish as wide receiver 1 on the week.
Ooh,
yeah, no, that's easy.
Yeah, right, and that's who you play.
Well, he's also got an opportunity for just an 80-yard touchdown. Yeah, we like that. Okay, let's go Mecole Hardman, Marauder. Thank you for the question. Really appreciate it. Michael Yeager, Marlon Mack is playing. Thank you.
Is that a statement? Is this confirmed?
I want to trust the guy, but he said he was a weasel. But I want to trust him.
I'm going on the internet right now as we speak to find out, because I have a Marlon Mack decision myself. Also, guys, who do you like better? If you own Marlon Mack and he's not playing, which one of the 2 running backs, Hines or Jordan Wilkins, do you like better in a PPR?
Hines.
Hines, I think so.
Okay.
Hines can catch some passes.
Well, not only that, but I mean, let's go to RosterWatch's snap counts, touches, and targets. Nyheim Hines, 4 targets last week. You don't even have
Jordan Wilkins.
He wasn't even in the game. So I mean, you got to go Nyheim Hines, don't you think?
Yeah, in PPR, sure, but I just don't have that option. So I am, I'm going to roll with Wilkins in hopes that he gets a touchdown and that I'm talking about only if Marlon Mack is ruled out.
Yeah, if Mack's ruled out, I mean, he's probably going to get the first and second down touches, and then the third down touches will go to Hines. It'll be just a pure committee.
The latest note, by the way, says Marlon Mack is a game time decision. They don't put out the game time decisions till about 12:30. So we're still in
okay. Michael Yeager weaseling his way again. Richard Amos, thank you for commenting this morning, brother. Non-PPR pick 2 of Godwin. Already have Evans penciled in. Man, it's just what is up with this? Did we draft Godwin and Mike Evans? I mean,
looks like a lot of people did.
It seems like we're getting a lot of questions like that. And I just can't.
Was going in like the second round, late second, and then
Godwin in late third, early fourth, or sometimes he dropped to the late fourth. It was possible. A lot of people grabbed them both on the wheel. Like they grabbed them at, Evans at 2.8 and then Godwin at 3.7 or 6 or whatever it is, So that
combined like 700 yards between the two of them so far. It's just absolutely insane. Like it was the right play, right?
Well, if you look at his question, non-PPR, he has Mixon as well. So I would assume he probably went Mixon first round, Evans second round, Godwin third, most likely. Maybe third. I mean, that's cockamamie as all hell, but right now it's looking good.
Right. Well,
right now it's looking good. Hey, you just dropped your big cojones on the table and went in on Jameis Winston this year. So non-PPR pick 2. Evans penciled in Godwin, Mixon, or Gallman. I mean, we just have to go Godwin and Mixon if we're picking two. Yeah, that one's an easy one. Marauder, thanks, guys. Yes, WR3. Stills is out. So Kiki was interesting. Kiki's 100% interesting.
Guys,
Kenny Stills has been ruled out.
Is that what that's what he says. So I don't have it in front of me, but I'm going to assume.
I'll look it up.
Yeah,
I'm going to assume
that we've been live for the last hour and 15 minutes, so it's hard for us. We've missed these last minute decisions. But
I'm following along. It says right here, it says right here, Rappaport is unlikely to play in week 5. Okay. So, but it's Rappaport.
Yeah, we'll find out in 15 minutes. We'll find out in 15 minutes when the inactive lists are announced, right?
Yeah. Right here. So we have Richard Amos again, full point PPR. Sutton, Gallman, or Diggs.
Woo-wee.
And I mean, I'm playing Gallman in a lot of areas, but I'm not in this position. I'm not playing him over these two selections. Now, Sutton, he's been getting the targets. Diggs hasn't been. I mean, last week he had a get right game, but with all the trade winds swirling, don't you think that they're going to give every target to Diggs? And that way, if Diggs goes, 7 catches for 15 yards for some reason, then they can blame it on him instead of him blaming it on Kirk Cousins.
If it means anything, the Vegas prop on will Stephon Diggs get traded for no is like minus 400, which indicates to me that he is not getting traded according to the Vegas odds makers. And again, of course, nobody knows. He's staying. Oh, look who walked in the door.
How y'all doing? All right.
Good. Hey, good. We are doing good, but our stream crashed. Don't know what happened. So we're trying to get the stream back out to all the followers, which was kind of a troublesome mark because we probably can't get it up on the website quick.
I think Alex has updated it on the site just now.
Oh. Yeah, we put out that fire. We
work with the pros, right?
Well, I mean, I just tweeted it out. We'll see what happens. Are there folks asking questions in there?
Oh, yes.
All right, yes. Well, let's just get – I have about 20, 30 minutes. Let's fire through these things.
Well, I can't see much, so go ahead here.
Oh, we just did that one. So we just had this one up in front of us. Okay. Richard Amos, full PPR, Sutton, Gallman, or Diggs. We were just talking about, do we trust Diggs this week? Like, is it the squeaky wheel narrative?
Maybe, but I don't trust that. I mean, wouldn't you play Gallman one last time here?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, and then Byron also, if you had to guess, where do you think
Sutton, if not Gallman, then?
Yeah, isn't Cortland Sutton going to be like a late second round, early third round pick next year? I mean, let's see what's actually happened. This guy's ready to explode, don't you think?
Well, that's second, third round pick last year. That'll depend on the quarterback situation, which is probably could be Drew Lock. I'm not sure that I'm going to be that bought in as much as I like Sutton. We'll have to see, right? I don't know. Is it year 2 of Flacco? I'm not sure. Do they draft another guy?
Well, they're drafting a guy.
We'll have to see.
Or knowing John Elway, it'll be Eli Manning.
That would be bad. So Sutton, I know Alex was saying today on the Sirius XM show that he actually thinks that Chargers defense has been, and it's reflected in the matchup tool. It hasn't been what folks expected, even against fantasy wide receivers. So I think if you own Sutton, this is a place that you can get him back out. He's had a healthy 8 targets a game. In PPR, you're just not going to get volume from Joe Flacco to stack up on the receptions with Sutton. So he's not overly touchdown dependent, but those are obviously key into him having the big game. I don't know, man. I'm a Sutton owner, and maybe I'm missing something, but I'd probably start Gallman in my flex.
Me too. I like that pick. I mean,
here's the reason why I didn't like it, because against a Diggs, I just am feeling something like this for a Diggs play. And tell me if I'm sniffing around something here, Byron. If everybody's trashing Kirk Cousins this week, I mean, Thielen literally said you might as well put his wife in at quarterback. I mean, they're staging a coup here against Kirk Cousins. Can you see something where the coach just gives every single target to Diggs, and if he shows out with it,
I can't.
No, just okay. Maybe I'm just being a little too maniacal.
I mean, what about before we had the Diggs acrimony? The story just like 4 or 5 days ago was Adam Thielen's squeaky wheel gets the grease. So who the hell is it? I trust Thielen a little bit more if I have to pick between either of those guys. But look, that's a Dalvin Cook offense, man. This is Gary Kubiak that we're talking about. I mean, these guys want to run the ball. It's what their bread and butter is. They don't need to take a whole lot of chances. So you're going to have to pick the right Vikings wide receiver. It could be Diggs, but I'm not sure. And I got two clearer options. I guess I can see how you don't like Gallman necessarily in this matchup, particularly. I just think you go Sutton or Gallman there, man. Use the tools, play the matchup, play the game script, play the Vegas, game totals, look at the touches, the targets, use the tools on the site, man. That's what we do when we're splitting the hairs on a super close ranking.
Byron, one of the other big questions that we keep getting is David Montgomery useful in season long in London today? What's your feelings on?
I think so. I'd say he's a realistically, he's probably he's a flex play, definitely. Maybe even he could end up being kind of a low end flex play. We'll have to just see how it shakes out, but he's certainly got a lot more upside than that. I mean, he could end up being an RB1 on the week. I mean, there's a lot to like about David Montgomery just over the last few weeks and where his trajectory is headed, but possibly with the backup quarterback against the Raiders, this game script could really go in his favor. So kind of listening to the Roto Grinders. I mean, you guys listened to Tradecast last week. We traded for David Montgomery. We've been 2 weeks ahead of this thing, right? So everything everybody's parroting right now, we're already on. I think the one concern, you heard it on the Roto Grinder show, if you were listening to Sirius XM before we came over here, was that is really how much you trust Matt Nagy to do what you think he's supposed to do is your big concern. So season long, you're playing David Montgomery. If you're in any kind of competitive league, he's a flex play. He has a lot of upside for you this week. And if you're in DFS, I think you just, it's not, David Montgomery may not be a cash game play for you.
Well, let's speak about cash game. So Andrew Carasquillo has a question here. We're going to go Gallman for the last answer. So Byron, the Godfather, set it up. Gallman, go Gallman, get him in. DFS DK cash, Michael Thomas, Fournette, or QT, or Cook. Also Waller, Steelers D, Eifert, Bears D or Eagles D, or Hooper and Panthers.
Oh,
lot to dissect here, Byron. Just go ahead. Let's see.
This is Michael Thomas and Fournette.
Or QT
I want Michael
Cook.
Thomas and Fournette. That's not even really close for me.
Okay.
I understand that, you don't want to chase Fournette's points and all that. Vegas likes Fournette a lot this week. They like Michael Thomas a lot this week. They like Dalvin Cook, but I'm not getting in on Kiki. That's just a huge drop-off, right? And so then what was the next question there? Was Darren Waller. Also, Waller and Steelers D. Oh, this is funny. I feel like I heard this one on Sirius XM too. So Waller and Steelers D, or Eifert and Bears or Eagles D. And I'm going to go with what Dan Box. I mean, you like Darren Waller, no Tyrell Williams, but they are playing the Bears. So to me, Eifert with the number one tight end matchup of the week, and the Eagles or Bears defense is pretty much like a clear-cut top three play. I feel like you're getting the good defense that way. Hooper Panthers is the wild card. We've liked Panthers as a waiver wire defense. Vegas, at least over on DraftKings, likes Hooper a fair amount this week. The matchup on paper is not that good. I think I'm going with that middle one. The key is going to be getting the right defense, Eagles or Bears. One of those two is going to go off. You're going to have to pick the right one. I think Eifert is fine, though.
Byron, don't you think that Arizona, the coaches are seeing the same thing we are, and that they realize they're getting torched by tight ends?
Yes.
That's
how it works.
Yeah, isn't that hole going to get plugged up a little bit?
It's debatable when you're talking about top 10 matchups and things like this, but when you're talking about number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, even maybe even top 3 matchup for sure. After this much data on the season, of course the coaches are key. It is very indicative. I mean, the coaches see that and their game plans are go accordingly. You see that, man.
Yep.
You guys know that's true.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All
right. It's a calculated risk. Look, all these tight ends are a risk. I mean, would I rather play Darren Waller? Yeah, I'd rather play Darren Waller than Tyler Eifert. But
we said that we actually talked about that Waller is probably the safest tight end you could play week in and week out. Not the highest upside, but definitely the safest.
I think that's right, man. Any of you guys who felt maybe a little guilty about missing out on an Evan Ingram or early or a Mark Andrews later. I mean, you had the chance to come around on your Darren Wallers and your Will Dissleys of the world. Isn't that funny how that works? Is that if you had drafted the guy, those other guys, like if I was salty about not getting Evan Ingram, it's a guy I liked. I should have just taken him, right? But now I'm like, shit, I would have never picked up Will Dissly if I had drafted Evan Ingram. And at this point, I'm like, that's way more fun for me to have gone and gotten Will Dissly. And I might like him rest of the way as much or more than Evan Ingram anyway. So it's funny how the fantasy season works out.
It's so maniacal how the tight end just merry-go-round is always the most swindliest of swindles on your fantasy season. Thanks, Byron Lambert from RosterWatch, joining us finally after our technical difficulties. But we are here on a game day edition of your Week 5 start sits. Follow at RosterWatch and at the Flex Network One. Boone's here. He says, hey, guys, sorry if answered already. Wentz or Brady? He likes Brady's upside, Byron.
I'd have to just go with our rankings. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Brady right over Wentz. But I do like Carson Wentz this week. I think Carson Wentz is a sneaky guy in DFS. I don't know what his ownership is going to be, but a lot of people don't like those big favorites. But the Trashman always says if they're going to win by 15 points, they have to get there somehow, and that is very likely Carson Wentz could be bombing it around. So
the trash man.
Yeah, but I definitely think Tom Brady is a safe play this week, guys.
Hey, speaking of which, we've gotten a lot of questions when the trash grab segment's going to come back to the Sirius show. So please pass that along to the producers.
I'll ask about that.
There's been a high demand for that show.
That hadn't been going on Saturday nights, huh?
No, it has not been.
All right, I'll put my
Byron, in honor of the trash man, we have a comment here from Clipboard Jesus. Mohamed Sanu or Catch TMC. That's Terry McLaurin there.
Yeah,
Polo Ralph McLaurin there.
My
Byron.
name caught on there.
All right, it was Terry McLaurin and versus who was the first one?
Mohamed Sanu.
Who's been good.
Yes, very productive.
I mean, I just really worry about the matchup for McLaurin. That's the only thing, man. I mean, he can get loose at any time. Maybe they can move him around, but that's just a bad Patriots secondary to be going up against there. Maybe he's at a little bit of risk of re-aggravating the hammy and coming out of the game too.
If you're Belichick, who's the guy you're going to focus on, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I think maybe you just take your chances and fade Terry McLaurin here.
Yeah. Hey, Byron, according to the DFS flex values on rosterwatch.com, Mohamed Sanu is a top 6 play in DFS according to fantasy value, projected to score 11.85 points with a touchdown odds of plus 275. Sanu might be a great way to fade off a couple of these tough matchups.
Yeah,
this week.
he's been awesome, man. And, at Falcons training camp, they told me there that it was still a very much a toss-up who the number 2 on that team was, Ridley or Sanu. I mean, Ridley is an awesome young player that if they would just feed him, he would go so big. But you look at the snap counts, it's a 75% snap count for Ridley, 80% for Sanu. Sanu's been about 8 targets a game. Ridley's been about 6. You always get a little worried that in one of these situations where you get out over your skis on one of those guys, it ends up being the other one. We always say that when there's an indicator that's that strong for one of these secondary players, it could always be his counterpart that's the one that goes kind of big. But I mean, I like Sanu is a nice safe play, I would say. So
yeah, Alex pointed out last night on the show that he's gone 50 yards or more in 3 games. So nice floor play there. Yeah.
And the other thing to do, guys, is that we always use that Vegas tool. It's always sorted by value, but sometimes the smart thing to do is go in there and sort it by so it's always sorted by value based on pricing, but sometimes go in there and sort it just strictly based on absolute value of the total points that Vegas is projecting these guys to score. I mean, if you're not doing something that's based on a budget, if you don't have a budget constraint, if you're looking at your season-long league, who cares what the value based on pricing is? Go in there and sort the tool by total projected points, and that's maybe where you want to start poking around. So I'd go in there and in DFS it'd be one thing, but if that's a season-long flex decision, I might sort the tool by total points projected and then just say, okay, in a vacuum, do they like Terry McLaurin or do they like Sanu better? That's one way I'd look at it as well.
We got a lot of questions that are popping in.
Okay.
All right.
Byron, we're gonna just
fire through.
shake, rattle, and roll here. T5G Media. Who should I play? Julian Edelman, Tyrell Williams, or Mike Williams? Is Tyrell out this week? Or
Edelman, let's go.
Edelman, Andrew, or Ronald Martinez, Josh Jacobs, Catch TMC, or Sanders, 1 point PPR.
Miles Sanders, give him to me. Let's go.
Ooh.
Miles Sanders, boom. Edward Acker, LaShawn McCoy, or James White, PPR.
Fuck, that's a tough one, man. I really like James White today, but I think I'm going to play LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah, I
LaShawn
agree.
McCoy, all.
You saw what Josh Jacobs did in that matchup last week, and I think we get at least you get LaShawn McCoy as the 1A for. We'll see, but that's got to be the expectation. It's 56-point game total. I'm getting LaShawn McCoy. Let's roll.
The Chiefs' offense.
No swindles, man. He's going to get action. Who the fuck knows what Belichick's going to do? It's going to be 3 touchdowns for Brandon Bolden today.
No swindles. Michael Yeager, Eagles fan, is this guy, by the way. He wanted to hear the most cockamamie Eagles fan. He didn't accept our answer to this question at the very start of the show, so he's got to come back and try to swindle us here. He wants to hear your take, Byron, on PPR with the yardage bonus, flex and 1 wide receiver, Allen Robinson, Auden Tate, Mel Gordon, or Devontae Freeman.
So what is this yardage bonus? Is for like over 100 yards, or if he has a big play, or what?
I don't know. The type of leagues that this cockamamie gentleman is in.
He's like in a 6-person league or
something. Put my options back up again.
Okay.
PPR with a yardage bonus. So Allen Robinson is getting these? Who's he getting these crappy Oakland Raiders?
Yep.
Yeah, in London. Bad night's sleep.
God, with Chase
Bad
Daniel.
airplane blind ride.
Dude, give me Auden Tate as my
yes.
A cockamamie answer for a cockamamie guy.
That's a flex right there. That's a flex
play.
That's a flex play. That's flex.
That's our wide receiver. And now
I mean that's a flex.
The vernacular. Oh my God, did I just use another big word? Oh, that's twice on. So we're gonna go Auden Tate in
Devontae Freeman here.
Okay, Auden Tate, Devontae Freeman, boom. Here we go. Half point.
If you want to go with a Melvin Gordon touchdown, you could. But I think I'm getting Devontae Freeman in there.
Yeah, fair enough.
Half point PPR needs 2 running backs and a flex. He has Darrell Williams, Jalen Samuels, Deontay Johnson, Catch TMC, and Tevin Coleman. 2 running backs and a flex.
These are fun choices.
Half point PPR.
Are we sure? Can you reasonably wait on Tevin Coleman with a Monday night game? You can't play him.
I had to bench him for Rashad Penny on Thursday night. I own Rashad Penny, Damian Williams, and Tevin Coleman. I had to start making decisions on Thursday night. It was kind of a hurtful deal. I mean, I think if you have to play Tevin Coleman this week, you can. You'd rather wait and see. It just depends on how good your options are. These aren't great options. So Jalen Samuels is the running back. I'd say you have to get in here.
Okay, so he needs 2 of them. So Tevin Coleman or Darrell Williams.
That's the tough one. Look, those are both going to be big timeshares.
But who has the better chance for a touchdown?
Yeah, maybe. That's a tough one, man. You'd say a recent performance, so you'd have to give the edge to Darrell Williams. You're doing it's a total projection with Coleman. I wouldn't be surprised if Coleman outplays him, but man, Jalen Samuels, I guess Darrell Williams there, and then our flex would be
McLaurin or Coleman.
Deontay Johnson.
Probably Deontay Johnson or Coleman. So you either roll out all 3 running backs here, or you go with Samuels and pick your RB2 and put Deontay Johnson in.
Hey, and there's a chance.
Have you guys seen Jimmy Smith and Marlon Humphrey's status? I need to look at that. Jimmy Smith out again this week. You might look up Jimmy Smith. He's been out basically the entire season. So the Steelers are projected to play from behind, so that could be good for Deontay Johnson.
Deepinder Singh, PPR. He has Keyshawn, Chester. This is a great one. This is on Friday night, Byron, when we do our Flex Finder podcast. I had Keyshawn Johnson of the Arizona Cardinals as my deep flex play of the week. I also had Chester Rogers here with Paris Campbell being out. I just uptick for Chester Rogers.
Chester the molester.
Yeah. So Keyshawn Johnson, Chester Rogers, or Daryl Williams. What a league this guy's in here. PPR.
God, man. Do you guys have the tools up? What kind of targets has Daryl Williams been getting? It can't be that much, especially with the Damian Williams back in. No Christian Kirk. I mean, these are deep options. I'd take my chances with Keyshawn.
Keyshawn, that's what I would say. He got 10 targets in week 1, and it faltered from there. But now that Christian Kirk's out, you really like it.
No, we have T.Y. Hilton trending towards playing tonight, so that pours a little cold water on a Chester Rogers. You saw Zach Pascal with the whole boatload of targets last week. So, anyways, I think that's the way to go is Keyshawn in a PPR.
Hey, Byron, quickly, are you in or out on this air raid so far? We were just talking about at the beginning. It's thumbs down for us. We just don't like what we see.
I mean, it's what I told Alex preseason. You worry a little bit of these things turn out like a Chip Kelly once they get to the NFL, right? It's a little splash, a little pop, a little sizzle on occasion, but just a little bit puny in the NFL, man. It doesn't seem to have big viability. But look, they're also finding their way. The good news is I think Kyler Murray is a legit young quarterback prospect. What they can do with him, we'll see. But, yeah, it hasn't been what we expected out of the air raid so far.
If they get picked 2 next year, I mean, what do they do? It would be funny if they did the same thing again and shuffled Kyler Murray for another QB.
I don't think you can do that, man. Kyler Murray would have probably been the top-ranked quarterback prospect out of the last 2 classes. So, I mean, you just can't keep doing that. You got to roll with Kyler Murray.
Steven Torrisi, flex play, MVS, Sony Michel, or Sterling Shepard.
MVS.
Next. That's what I was going to say. Ewalps, team name. Oh, yeah. Team name and record, guys. Serious. Team name or record, or we're not answering any of these questions. Ewalps, team name is no name, and he's 3-1. 12-team PPR flex question. James Conner, Sony Michel, D.A. Williams. That could be Daryl or Damian. You just don't know. Cortland Sutton, Gallman, Gordon currently have Conner in.
That's Damian Williams, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So, would you play any of those options?
Connor had 8 targets last week. I'm playing Connor.
Ronald Martinez, Sanders, Jacobs, or Catch TMC, 1-point PPR. I would assume Emmanuel Sanders.
Oh, is that what this is? Did I assume that was Miles Sanders earlier? Either way, I would have answered it the same way.
Yeah,
whatever Sanders that is, that's who I want.
Okay.
Couple quick updates. You got Devin Singletary ruled out, Juju ruled in, Vance McDonald active, and was this Terry McLaurin? Big boost Terry McLaurin. It says inactive last week. He is active today.
There you go.
Big boost for Colt McCoy, guys.
Yes. Andy S., just wondering your opinion. I have seen it written back and forth from different sources. Which Denver wide receiver do you think will get the Hayward shadow?
If I had to, I'm a little worried it's going to be Sutton. I'm not going to come on here and lie to you, though. The fact is that if I have those this week, I think you can play either of Denver wide receivers because Chargers haven't been maybe what they have been in the past, even in the secondary. But if I have my choice, I'm just feeling Emmanuel Sanders this week.
Feeling Emmanuel Sanders.
He's a guy you can move around more and get him away from the coverage. We'll see what they do, but he's the guy. Sutton, you're going to trot him out wide for the most part, and that's going to be the end of the story. Sanders, you can try to get him open.
So to harken back to the last question, it was Miles Sanders, Josh Jacobs, or Terry McLaurin. And did you want Sanders over Josh Jacobs?
I want Miles Sanders. I want Emmanuel Sanders. I want Colonel Sanders.
All Sanders is
all go.
Jimmy Smith is inactive today for the Ravens.
Jimmy Smith also.
That's, Juju, that's decent. Deontay Johnson, that's decent news. Isn't it funny? You would think James Washington might be catching some bombs from Mason Rudolph, but that's just not happening, huh?
Well, nobody's catching bombs from Mason Rudolph.
Tyrell Williams is a long shot to play.
Good, he sucks. You guys should have traded him the last 2 weeks when I've been pounding the drum on the trade cast.
Yes, let's talk about the trade cast, Byron. Go ahead. Give us a little bit more nuggets. Again, an hour and a half again this week.
I'm going to have to streamline it a little bit moving forward now that the last 2 episodes, the opening has really been to kind of set the table and give people just a real idea, some instruction as to what we're doing. I think we'll streamline a little bit, maybe to an hour moving forward and just try to hammer through the most plausible targets on each side of the market, running back, wide receiver, sells, buys. Not everybody is a sell high or a buy low, but some guys are just a sell or just a buy. That's something we should remember too. So I guess the question is, what do you guys think about the trade?
You might chime in real quick on that. Okay, so what I love about the trade cast, and to your point, yes, the last two have just been absolute monsters, hour and a half roughly each. I love that part of it. You don't get straightly in say, let's trade this guy for that guy right away, right? Because every trade is pretty much unique. You get into the theory behind the trades, which means you can go back and listen to last week's trade cast. And if you listen to the first 20 minutes, half an hour of it, you get the strategy behind how you approach trades. And I think that is just as valuable as we think that this guy's a trade high kind of guy, right? As much, and that's what you can get to as the season goes on. But the nuance of how you go about trading, I think that there's a lot of value in that as well.
Yeah, you hit on it perfectly right. It's teaching people how to trade, because all you hear is, "Oh my God, I rejected," or "This guy, if he does that again, I'm out of this league." I think that you might be laborious for you to go through an hour and a half, but this is like one of your most valuable podcasts because.
So you guys like the 90 minutes.
I love it.
We're maniacal.
I could go another 90. This is my favorite podcast of the week.
Okay, well thank you.
Please, do they have to be pro members now to listen to the trade cast?
And review.
You guys better be nice to Alex. He was in a mood the other day.
He was in a mood.
Total
salty.
Let's get back to the questions here. Jeff Craig, 12-team standard. Where do I play, or who do I play in the flex? Who do I drop for a defense? So he's got QB Winston, running back Connor Cook, wide receivers Thielen Boyd, tight ends is OJ, Shady. Who's Shady? Okay, I'm just saying tight ends OJ. So now Shady, Samuels, Madison, Golden Tate, Philip Dorsett, Gallup, Herndon, Cam, Galladay. Who does he play in the flex out of those? And then who does he drop for a defense, Byron?
Well, in a 12-team league, I would assume you could drop Cam without too much repercussion. You should have options on your waiver wire, even if you can't circle back and get him later. Even if you're that interested in getting him, I'm not sure.
Roll with Jameis anyways, right?
Yeah, I think you just roll with Jameis. You don't need to roster two quarterbacks. Let me see. If you own Dalvin, I think, a lot of people are dropping Madison. I just say if you own Dalvin, you're playing with fire. If you do that, I wouldn't do it. Madison's too good. If you lose Cook, Madison's like probably, I'd say 75 to 80% of what you're getting out of Dalvin. That's still probably an RB1 or like nice RB2. Who else do I see here you could drop? I don't see anybody else, man. Who's your tight end? You got to keep Herndon because OJ Howard sucks. So I would drop Cam Newton, and then
do we play Shady in the flex?
Let's see.
He's got Shady. Do we play Shady?
Yeah.
What is that? Curtis Samuel? Is that who that is? No, that's Jalen
Samuels.
No, he's got it right. Shady.
Yeah,
56-point game total, I think.
And Byron, we hit it in our waiver wire podcast as well, but you agree. I heard you say it before, but Alexander Madison needs to be rostered by somebody. He should never be on the waiver wire in a 12-team league.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's a more conservative approach than some are taking. I don't necessarily disagree with that, because he's the guy, if it hits, it's going to hit pretty damn big, man. That could be like a season winner, right? He'll have the whole entire – it could be a little bit of a timeshare, but he'll have the lion's share of that whole thing to himself, man. But Dalvin Cook owner, man, do not drop Alexander Madison. You will hate
or
yourself.
any other owner.
Yeah.
So here we go, Byron. I'm going to say, Byron, let's say how much can we get in 5 minutes here, because we have so much. Let's just rock this so fast and hard here. That's what she said.
Maybe pick the short questions, man. Tell people to send the short, concise questions in.
Curtis Samuel or Will Fuller?
People like Will Fuller, no Kenny Stills. I hate Will Fuller, man.
Why?
Maybe Will Fuller. Well, I mean, I just
know why. We don't have time for why.
Will Fuller. Will Fuller. Okay. Will Fuller. We'll go back to Shane. That's Shane's guy from last week. We'll go back to Will one more time.
Okay, there you go. Pick 2 out of John Brown, Sonny Michel, Chris Thompson, Golden Tate, Jalen Samuels. Currently have Sonny and Brown, half-point PPR. Pick 2.
I want Chris Thompson.
Okay.
And you guys pick the other one, and let's go.
Oh,
I'm fine with Sony, right? Just because.
Yeah, let's go Sony, half-point PPR.
Rex Burkhead's out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you could argue for John Brown. Might be the other guy I consider. Bad matchup. He hadn't done much lately.
Okay, go John Brown. That means go John Brown. 1 and 3 team here, 0.5 PPR. Josh Allen or Jameis, Gallman or Michelle, Diggs or MVS, Damian Williams or Mark Andrews.
Want Winston.
I
want
Gallman
MVS.
or Michelle. Okay,
MVS. Do you guys want MVS or Diggs?
I want MVS. I'm with you. I think he's going to go bananas today.
Give me MVS.
Okay, Damian Williams, Mark Andrews.
Probably Andrews, right? That's
Andrews.
scary, but
and then Michelle and Gallman was the last choice he needs to make.
Sounds like you were a little
to go with Gallman, man.
Gallman.
Yeah.
Okay, start.
Michelle has just been bad, right?
Very bad. Very bad. He's had some touchdown deodorant the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
That's Star Sniper 35. Thanks for the question. Austin Hanson, start 2 of 4. Damian Williams, Jarvis Landry, Calvin Ridley, Deontay Johnson. Word is down here in the comments. Let's see here. Juju's in. Yep. So Juju's in. So 2 of the 4, Jarvis, Damian Williams, Calvin Ridley, Deontay Johnson.
Have we seen, is Jarvis going to play on Monday night? I was trying to check for that during the show.
Yeah, I'll look it up while you guys are talking, but I think that he was going to play, but let's confirm.
Yeah, I think he's out of the protocol.
I mean,
Correct.
If Jarvis Landry's going to play, I'm pretty sure in PPR, I mean, you don't want to chase the monster he had last week. I don't think that's who Jarvis Landry is. Maybe it is this year with Baker Mayfield and his deal with Odell Beckham. I think you get Landry in, and
don't you think you kind of have to go Damian Williams? Aren't they going to at least give him an opportunity?
Maybe
that 1B. Al disagrees.
I'm thinking about telling him Calvin Ridley here, but you could get blanked on that. I think it's Jarvis Landry, and then you got to decide between Damian Williams and Calvin Ridley in a get right spot. One of those guys. Quarterback, I'm going with Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz, Ronald Martinez, Golden Tate, Sutton, or TMC. Catch TMC. Need 1 point PPR.
Probably Sutton.
Boom.
It would be
Snipers.
scary to start Terry.
Scary to start.
You guys are too funny, man.
Point. Let's see here. Ronald Jones or Frank Gore. Half point PPR. Patrick Gallardo.
It surprises me that the Titans aren't tougher on the matchup tool against the run, because I feel like every time I've tried to see a running back run on that Titans defense this year, it just looks bad, man. So I don't know how you can trust Frank Gore. Singletary, he's going to give it a go, guys.
No, he's out.
He's out. Frank Gore, who's the other option?
Ronald Jones.
Ronald Jones. Was it the third, the second? Which
I think you got to play Frank Gore, man. You got to play Frank Gore.
Play the
Gore. Play the
song. Chuck Olson said from the previous question, there's a yardage bonus over 50-yard, 12 points. So over 50-yard catch is 12 points. Full point PPR, Curtis Samuel, Will Fuller. That was from that question. So we're still going with Will Fuller.
Okay, hold on. Yardage bonus.
His QB is Watson.
Yeah, Will Fuller.
Okay, and he's 3-1. Papa Hoops in the house. Pro member.
Thank you.
If
Papa.
you aren't a pro member, go F yourself, is what he says. Rudy Guerrera, flex 1 point PPR. Josh Jacobs, Jalen Samuels, or Deontay Johnson.
I hate Josh Jacobs this week, but I think you might have to play him here.
You
going Jalen?
Yeah,
Jalen
Samuels.
I'm fine with Jalen. I'm fine with Jalen Samuels here. I mean, some of this depends on your level of risk tolerance, man. But if you can accept a little more risk, I mean, Jalen Samuels he
looks so good last week.
Yeah, he looks so good. It's just sometimes you hate just like you put in a Josh Jacobs on a week like this, and you know it's a bad play, and it's like beating your head against the wall.
And
here we go.
We've been getting a lot of questions like this. Also, we've been getting people that have Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson. Which one of those two do you like better?
I'm not benching Lamar Jackson right now.
Even for Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun hasn't been great. He hasn't been great.
He hasn't looked good.
He hasn't looked good, man. No. I mean, if you've got Deshaun, you feel good about playing him. But if you've got Lamar Jackson, he's been one of the true nuclear options in fantasy.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
There you go. Nick Ing or Inge, full point PPR. Does he drop Kenyon Drake for MVS, Demarcus Robinson, or Robbie Anderson today when he's got wide receiver issues? Tyrell, Mike. Yes, we do that.
Yeah.
Yes, we
So,
definitely
if you
do.
like, I Robbie. If I need a guy on the season, I want Robbie Anderson, and I think you could actually even play. I hate it with Luke Falk, but it is an amazing matchup today. If you're in a total bind, MVS is the guy you want to pick up and play this week, and he's a decent own on the season. So you just got to weigh your needs there.
Okay, guys, it's
Three more.
We have three more. We have so much here. I don't
One
know.
just came up in the Slack
haven't
chat.
answered.
I thought was a good one. It's Vance McDonald or Jimmy Graham.
You have to roll Jimmy Graham.
Okay,
Yeah,
chase those
that's
9
what I would
targets.
say. I'm gonna skip by some of these just so we can get like quick ones. 1 point PPR, pick two, Terry McLaurin, Frank Gore, Eifert, or D.D. Westbrook. Nick Hollins with the comment. Put it up, Shane.
Nick, I'm looking forward to
This is PPR.
PPR.
Let's go with Eifert and Westbrook.
Eifert.
It's so easy to live YOLO when it's not your own team. But look, Alex mentioned it that the air yards by Hermsmeyer over to establish the run. It's something we keep an eye on. Westbrook's been a guy that he's had there this week as a possible breakout. And then if you're scared of Eifert, then you could go Gore here. You could go Gore here. I don't know why. I'm just maybe out on Terry McLaurin. I don't know what's going to happen. Colt McCoy, Patriots, a hamstring.
It's not a good
just
setup.
better. There's just clearer options here. So
Ronald Martinez, Juju active. Do you play him over Deontay Johnson or DJ Chark?
Baby Shark. I think you have to.
Chark,
You have to.
Yeah.
Ewald says, everyone hit that thumbs up button. Yes, you should. This is a game day edition with Byron Lambert from @RosterWatch. 2 more questions here.
2 more.
Matt MC, Standard League. Does he play Gallman, Devontae Freeman, or Josh Gordon in the flex?
We've said Gallman a lot on this one. Let's take him out of this equation. Maybe Josh Gordon. What do you guys think?
Do you love? See, to me, I'm rolling with one of the running backs. Just
Freeman.
Why do we have to take
standard.
Gallman out?
That's fine.
just standard, yeah.
I want to roll. Then let's roll with Devontae Freeman in this one. You
Devontae
guys trust
Freeman.
that?
I trust you,
Yeah.
Byron Lambert, as the golden.
Devontae Freeman's
what I'm worried
trending
about.
in the right direction. You know what I mean?
But
He's
Ito
gotta
Smith
get in
is
the damn
healthy.
end zone one of these days. Ito Smith is healthy.
You know what's funny is like while Julio's scoring, Freeman is not. And for long stretches, 8 games last year, at the beginning of the year, Julio couldn't get in the end zone. Then he exploded. It's interesting how that's happening.
To me, I like Josh Gordon. If we're not sure about the running backs, I think Josh Gordon is a fine play.
There you go.
Okay,
The Black
Eddie
Anaconda.
Elvier with one of the last ones here. I have no good tight end. Should I start Ebron, Eifert, McDonald, or OJ Howard?
He's got a lot of bad tight ends.
Probably
Eifert with the number
Eifert.
1 play. Yeah,
Gotta be
Eifert.
Yeah.
What do we do
Eifert.
all this work for, guys? You just you ship it in with the best decisions you can make, and then you let the chips fall how they may. You live with the results. You can't. If your tight ends are that shitty, you don't feel bad about getting an Eifert. And if he screws you, any of these other guys could have screwed you too.
Okay, Byron, I will take our last question as a 3-parter. Just a quick rapid fire off your head. Debo Samuel, Melvin Gordon, Standard League.
Rapid fire, Byron.
Melvin Gordon,
Larry Fitz, Chark, or Philip Dorsett.
Fitzgerald,
Sony, Ronald Jones, Frank Gore. Need to.
Oh God. Let's go with Gore and Ronald Jones.
Yep.
Thielen or Gordon.
Gordon.
Gordon or Gallman. Flex, standard.
We just answered this one.
So
Gallman.
you
I don't know,
Gallman.
Gallman.
Okay. Let's see.
He's shaking his 8 ball over there to see Gallman.
Gallman.
Michael Slotmaker here. He's obnoxious Viking in our dynasty league. Hey, right here, Byron, swindle this guy. Sit Diggs for Geronimo Allison.
Ooh, that's a good one.
But we're trying to swindle Byron, so tell him the wrong answer because we don't like this guy. He's in our dynasty league. Just joking. Sit Diggs for Geronimo Allison.
I wouldn't.
I don't think so.
I wouldn't.
Sony Michelle or LaShawn McCoy.
LaShawn.
Drop Dawson Knox for Eifert this week.
Yes.
And we are
That's
done. Byron Lambert from @RosterWatch coming in with the fire. Okay.
Thank you guys. Y'all did great today.
Follow @RosterWatch. Go get a pro membership at RosterWatch.com. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Byron. Please go ahead, sign off. What is to be coming from RosterWatch after the first quarter of the season, Byron?
Well, we're dropping most of our best content on the podcast these days. So I highly recommend that everybody here, if you want more of this content, go over to Apple Podcasts and subscribe to the Roster Watch podcast. If you have time, please leave a 5-star rating and a glowing review. And we thank all of you so much for your support. You guys over at the Flex Network, Shane and Matt and Alan, you guys are doing a great job. So we're looking forward to getting back at it next week. All right, you guys have a great Sunday.
Hey, thanks, Byron. We really appreciate it. Al just says, thanks, fellas, pro member here. So thank you so much for being a pro member, Alja. Byron, real quick, though, actually, just real quick for me personally, you know, the best part about the fantasy football season is the draft. And I would say that most of our viewers are just steadfast on Dynasty content with the fantasy football draft at the beginning of the season. We've got an idea we're tooling around here at the Flex Network for a Thanksgiving
hold on,
day.
don't let too much out. We're going to be sending a proposal. We're going to
send a proposal.
Don't say anything yet.
To your way, Thanksgiving Day.
No.
Just teasing. I'm not stopping, but expect it coming through your email, and hopefully we can tease the fans for something real nice and bacon in the oven just to be unleashed on the world.
Let him sign off in peace.
Looks like y'all got some fans.
Yes, thank you, Byron. Okay, see you later, Byron. Have a great day today.
Thanks for everything, guys. Bye.
All right, as we sign off here, Carasquillo, Carasquillo's been giving a shit the entire podcast. I mean, first the feed went down before his question could get answered. Then he's in and out of work. He said, "My bad, guys, stuck at work." What was the question? I mean, I have to go all the way back up here. So I'll tell you what it was, though. So let's see if I can find it here. Where is it here? Shane, can you help me out? Okay. So the answer was that he wanted Michael Thomas and Fournette, and then to go with Eifert, and then the goal is to pick the best defense. Bears or Eagles, both slated to go off this week potentially. So he just said Eifert, Thomas, and Fournette, and then it's up to you to pick the defense. Guys, thank you so much. A Thanksgiving treat, Isaac. Why? Yes, brother. A Thanksgiving treat could potentially be coming your way. A co-comprised edition of the Roster Watch.
Spit while you're ahead, man.
Okay. 3 last questions. You guys want to get 3 bang?
No, we'll get them next time. We'll get them on Twitter. Get them on Twitter.
Right.
No, we have 4 minutes left. Yes, so hurry up.
Quick.
3 quick ones.
We're gonna go.
Half point PPR, start 1. Chark, Hollywood Brown, Catch TMC, John Brown, or DJ Moore. Start 1. Half point. Chark? Did you say Chark? Okay, let's go Chark. The spoken one. What's the next one here? What up, homies? Justin, man, we missed you. All cast. Thanks, brother. Left Goodwin on the bench. Need a dub. Monty, Gallman, Shady, Miles Sanders, Ridley, D. Robinson, Hollywood. Need an RB and 2 flexes in PPR. Winston or Murray. Have both Bucks wide receivers starting. We're going Winston there. For that one. Now you need 1 running back, 2 flexes, Monty or Gallman or Shady. We're going to go Shady, right?
Shady, yep.
Shady. And then 2 flexes here, Miles Sanders, Ridley, D. Robinson, Hollywood, Monty or Gallman for 2 flexes. Let's go the running backs. Do you want to go Monty and Gallman?
Yeah.
Or do we want to go Ridley, Hollywood Brown?
I would go Shady for sure. Then for me, I would personally roll Gallman. I know that a lot of other people are high on David Montgomery, but then it's just a higher piece of that offense every single week, right?
Says, are you tuned in here?
Yeah, I'm checking the latest news, my friends. Checking the latest news.
What do we got here? Do you want?
I'm getting a lot of questions about Marlon Mack. That's why I'm trying to see if we have any news on him.
There's still nothing definitive on Mac.
Yeah, which is
I'm gonna
crazy.
go.
It's a night game. It's tonight. It's a 6:30 game or 8:30 Eastern. So that's the
We're
thing,
gonna go Gallman in the flex here, but
for the Mac, go ahead, finish this one. Then I have a thing
yeah,
on Mac.
Ridley, Robinson, Hollywood Brown, or David Montgomery says you pick.
Well, I'm big on David Montgomery. I know Byron was a little, skeptical. I just think that he's ready to roll here, and then Shady is really set up for a big day. So I would go Montgomery.
So there
Shady,
you go.
these are all great options.
Boom,
okay,
done.
and then did we have one more? Or was that it?
Andrew Carrasquello.
No, that was part of the DK one.
All right, we're done.
So all right, guys, thank you so much. Sorry about the technical difficulties, but we came in and we flexed for your Week 5 start sits with Byron Lambert. Follow him and the whole RosterWatch crew at RosterWatch. Get an official pro membership at RosterWatch.com. But please, guys, funnel back to our Twitter at the Flex Network 1. Also on there, we have our Friday night Flex Finder podcast. We would love to get all of you back in our chats to answer your Flex questions on Friday night.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, anyone that is interested in season-long fantasy basketball, we're going to be doing a fantasy basketball pod on the DFS Army feed as well. So check that out if you're interested in season-long fantasy basketball.
All right, at Alan Seslowski, at Sealy_Shane, and at the Flex Network 1. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Stay on.